You have a pretty cool story about how you got your first job in the industry. Can we
Yes.
start with that?
Yeah. Should I do the whole the bad part?
Give us
and
the
first part?
the bad part.
Well, okay. So I graduated in 2009. The economy had crashed, and there was no way for me to get a job anywhere, even at Starbucks.
Wow.
And so I had done a bunch of internships, and I was trying to use those connections to like get a job in the industry, but that wasn't working. And so I ended up I was just watching the show Breaking Bad, and it was season 3 hadn't aired yet. Or sorry, I wasn't even shot yet. Season 2 had just aired of Breaking Bad, and I was a fan of it on Facebook, and just liked the page. And some girl posted a picture of herself on Facebook, and said that she was on set of Breaking Bad, and she was said, my last day on set, I had a really good time. And I said. And I just commented, total stranger, and I said, what do you do on set? And she said, I'm a costume designer. And I said, cool. And so I Facebook messaged her privately, and then I said, do you happen to have the production coordinator's email address?
Nice.
She was leaving, and she didn't seem to care that much. But she was like, yeah, here it is. And she gave me the production coordinator's email address. And the only thing I knew at the time was that production coordinators hire set PAs. But I was trying to get in the writing world, but I wasn't going to ask for the showrunner's email address. So I emailed the production coordinator, cold email, and I said, hi, my name's Chris, and I'm really good friends with Kathy, the costume designer. I don't know, that's probably not even her name. But,
awesome.
And she got back to me because I had made that connection, and we went back and forth a few times, and she happened to be in LA. We met for coffee, and I asked her for a set PA job, and she offered it to me. So right then and there, I hadn't even graduated yet, and I was able to, she said, if you want to move to Albuquerque, New Mexico, you have a job on Breaking Bad. And I was like, holy crap, that's amazing. My favorite show ever. And this is season 2, right? No one even was a huge fan of it, but I knew it was a good show.
This is before
anyone was talking about it.
Totally.
And then I was freaking out. And then my wife and I were getting married in Santa Fe, New Mexico, because my wife is from New Mexico. So we were like, let's just move to New Mexico. It's lower cost of living. I'll meet Vince Gilligan. Everything's going to be great. Next day, she gets into Teach for America and gets a teaching position in Los Angeles. So it's like a legitimate, better paid job than a PA job. And we got to stay in LA. So we decided to stay, and I had to turn down that job.
Wow.
But she recommended me for the writer's PA position that they also had a spot for. And so I interviewed for that position. I interviewed with Vince's assistant, who ended up becoming a writer. I think the writer's assistant ended up becoming a writer and wrote the I'm the One Who Knocks episode. This is just, again, I had written one pilot at the time. It was nothing really. I was just fresh out of college, wide-eyed, and they didn't give me the job. Come to find out later, by the way, that when I went to a WGA event last year. I took my cousin of mine, and they were doing a panel of Emmy winners, or Emmy noms, and they had the Duffer Brothers up there from Stranger Things. They had Lena Waithe, and they had a writer from Better Call Saul. And they went down the line. They asked, "How did you get your start in the business?" And the writer on Better Call Saul was like, "Well, I was the writer's PA on season 3 of Breaking Bad."
No, that was your job.
That wasn't my job, but that was my possible alternate reality. I was like, what?
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, it was kind of hilarious. But that's Hollywood. Anyway, how did I get my job this way? That was the failure story. Positive story was I ended up meeting the creator of White Collar on USA. I met him on Twitter.
Wow.
I was reading his script in a class that I'm taking. I was taking at UCLA. I was taking a screenwriting class, and we read the pilot of White Collar. I tweeted at the showrunner. I said, "I read your script and I really liked it." This is right when the show was coming up, and he got back to me and said, "How did you get my script?" And I said that I was taking a class at UCLA and we're reading his script in a class. And he was so flattered by the fact that people were reading his scripts in classes that he ended up, I got him to come in as a guest speaker to that class. And so then I met him in person, and it was funny because it was a semester class, so he couldn't even come till after the class was over. So I had to literally call the teacher up and ask him if I could pretend to be a student of the next semester's class just so I could proctor this guy to the class. And this showrunner, and he's like, yeah, you can. So I met him there, ended up emailing him for probably 8 months straight, over and over and over again. He wouldn't respond every fourth email he would respond to. But eventually I got a coffee meeting with him during their hiatus, perfect timing, and I asked him for the writer's PA position, and he gave it to me. So that's how I started as a writer's PA on White Collar. And ever since then, I kind of climbed the ladder as an assistant.